Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Hodges and welcome back to another episode of Technology and Cybersecurity Explained. Let's dive in. Collect evidence. The forensic process begins with identifying and gathering relevant evidence. Logs, disk images, memory captures, network data, cloud artifacts, mobile device data, and more. This step must be done carefully and systematically, using proper tools and documented procedures to avoid altering or damaging the evidence. Good collection determines whether the rest of the investigation will be reliable. Preserve integrity. Evidence must be preserved in its original state. That means using write blockers, hashing data, securing storage locations, and maintaining a strict chain of custody. Any change, even accidental, can compromise the investigation or make evidence inadmissible in legal or regulatory proceedings. Integrity preservation is one of the most critical disciplines in digital forensics. Analyze artifacts. Once preserved, analysts examine the evidence to reconstruct the attacker's actions. This includes reviewing file systems, logs, registry keys, memory artifacts, processes, timelines, malware behavior, and network traces. The goal is to answer key questions. What happened? How did the attacker get in? What systems or data were accessed? How far did the attack progress? This is where the forensic mindset, meticulous, structured, and analytical, comes into play. Report findings. The final step is documenting the results in a clear, defensible, and actionable report. This includes timelines, technical evidence, conclusions, and recommendations. Reports help leadership understand impact, support incident response decisions, and strengthen future defenses. In legal cases, reports may also serve as formal evidence. Detect incidents. Everything begins with detection. This is where monitoring systems, SIEM, EDR, XDR, IDS, IPS, cloud logs, user behavior analytics, surface suspicious activity that may indicate an attack. Detection is all about identifying threats early before they spread. Strong visibility, well-tuned alerts, and threat intelligence are essential to catching incidents quickly and accurately. Contain threats. Once an incident is confirmed, the immediate goal is containment, stopping the attacker from moving further. This might involve isolating compromised endpoints, blocking network traffic, disabling accounts, segmentation or firewall adjustments. Containment buys time, limits damage, and prevents the attack from spreading across the environment. Eradicate malicious activity. After the threat is contained, the next step is eradication, removing the attacker's tools, access, and persistence mechanisms. This can include removing malware, closing exploited vulnerabilities, cleaning registry entries. Eliminating backdoors eradication ensures the adversary is completely removed from the environment so they cannot return or re-execute the attack. Recover systems. Once the threat is removed, the organization transitions into recovery. This includes restoring systems from backups, re-imaging devices, validating integrity, patching vulnerabilities, and safely bringing services back online. Recovery focuses on returning operations to normal while ensuring the environment is clean, stable, and secure. Minimize damage. The first priority in any incident is containment. DFIR teams work quickly to stop the attacker's activity, prevent further spread, and protect critical systems and data. Speed matters. Reducing dwell time directly reduces cost, operational impact, and reputational harm. Minimizing damage ensures the organization can maintain operations and recover faster. Preserve legal evidence. Every action taken during an incident must protect the integrity of the evidence. This means carefully collecting logs, disk images, memory captures, and artifacts without altering them. Chain of custody, hashing, and proper documentation are essential. If the incident involves insider misuse, fraud, or a potential criminal act, this evidence may be required in court or regulatory investigations. Meet compliance. Many industries have strict requirements for incident detection, reporting, and remediation. HIPAA, PCI DSS, SOX, GDPR, CMMC, DFIRs, and more. DFIR ensures that the organization meets these legal and regulatory obligations by handling incidents in a structured, documented, and defensible way. Compliance-driven incident response reduces penalties and strengthens trust with auditors, partners, and regulators. Prevent recurrence. After containment and recovery, DFIR plays a critical role in root cause analysis. Teams determine how the attacker got in, what vulnerabilities were exploited, what misconfigurations or weaknesses enabled the attack, what changes are needed to prevent it from happening again. This leads to security hardening, improved controls, better monitoring, and updated response plans. Prevention is where DFIR creates long-term value, transforming incidents into opportunities for resilience. Preparation. Preparation is the foundation of effective incident response. This includes developing IR plans and playbooks, training staff, establishing communication channels, deploying monitoring tools, conducting tabletop exercises, ensuring backups and logs are in place. When preparation is strong, the organization responds faster and with far less confusion when an incident occurs. Detection and analysis. This phase begins when suspicious activity is identified. Using SIAM alerts, EDR telemetry, threat intel, logs, and behavioral analytics, the team determines, is this a real incident? What type of incident is it? What systems are affected? What is the scope and severity? Accurate, timely detection is essential to limiting damage and beginning containment. Containment stops the attacker from causing further harm. Short-term containment isolates affected systems. Long-term containment stabilizes the environment while allowing business operations to continue. This step reduces the attacker's ability to move laterally or escalate privileges. Eradication. Here, the organization removes the root cause of the attack. This may involve deleting malware, closing exploited vulnerabilities, removing persistence mechanisms, revoking compromised credentials, fixing misconfigurations. Eradication ensures that the threat is fully removed and cannot reappear. Recovery. Recovery brings systems safely back online. This includes restoring services, validating integrity, re-imaging devices if needed, and monitoring closely for signs of reinfection. The goal is to return to normal operations with confidence that the environment is clean and secure. Lessons learned. This phase transforms incidents into opportunities for improvement. The team documents what happened, what worked, and what didn't. Gaps in detection, controls, or processes, recommendations for improvement. Lessons learned sessions strengthen future response, improve tooling and monitoring, and harden defenses across the organization. Policies define the organization's expectations, responsibilities, and authorities during an incident. They answer questions like, who declares an incident? Who can shut down systems? What communication channels are used? What legal or regulatory steps must be followed? Clear policies ensure consistency and prevent chaos during high-pressure moments. Training. Even with strong policies, teams must be trained to execute them. Training includes incident response procedures, use of forensic tools, SOC workflows, tabletop exercises, communication drills. Well-trained teams respond faster, make fewer mistakes, and coordinate more effectively. Tooling incident response depends on the right tools being deployed and operational before an incident occurs. This includes SIEM, EDR, XDR, SOAR, forensic utilities, packet capture, and secure communication channels. Prepared tooling ensures analysts have the visibility and capabilities they need the moment an incident begins. Playbooks. Playbooks are step-by-step guides for handling specific types of incidents, phishing, ransomware, compromised accounts, data breaches, cloud intrusions, and more. Playbooks reduce decision-making under stress, standardize response actions, and allow analysts to operate with precision and confidence. Logging and monitoring. Without logging, there is no visibility, and without visibility, there is no incident response. This includes collecting logs from endpoints, cloud platforms, applications, firewalls, identity systems, and network devices. Strong monitoring and retention policies ensure that when an incident happens, the evidence is available for investigation. The SIAM is one of the most important detection tools in any SOC. It centralizes logs from across the environment, endpoints, cloud, servers, network devices, and correlates events to identify suspicious behavior. Most incidents begin with a SIAM alert, whether for unusual login activity, malware execution, privilege escalation, or lateral movement. SIAM alerts provide broad visibility and early warning signs of attacks. User reports. Not all incidents are detected by tools. Sometimes users are the first to notice something wrong. This includes suspicious emails, unexpected pop-ups, locked accounts, strange system behavior, payment fraud attempts. User reports remain one of the top detection methods for phishing, business email compromise, and social engineering attacks. Organizations with trained employees detect threats significantly faster. SOC escalations. Tier 1 analysts review alerts continuously. When something looks serious or beyond initial triage, they escalate it to Tier 2 or incident response teams. These escalations are critical because they represent alerts that experienced analysts have flagged as genuinely suspicious or high priority. SOC escalations ensure the right expertise is applied at the right time. Threat intelligence. Threat intel adds context and predictive power to detection. It provides known malicious IPs, domains, and file hashes, emerging threat actor activity, campaign indicators, industry-specific targeting trends, vulnerabilities actively exploited in the wild. Threat intel helps identify threats before tools detect them, enriching investigations and improving the organization's ability to stay ahead of adversaries. Short-term isolation. Short-term containment focuses on immediate action to prevent further damage. This often includes isolating compromised endpoints from the network, disabling accounts showing suspicious activity, cutting off active sessions, locking down affected systems. The goal is speed, not a perfect solution. Short-term isolation buys critical time and prevents the threat from spreading while the investigation unfolds. Long-term segmentation. Once the immediate threat is controlled, long-term containment focuses on stabilizing the environment and preventing the attacker from regaining access. This can include network segmentation, reconfiguring firewalls and access controls, blocking communication channels the attacker used, strengthening identity and privilege boundaries. Long-term segmentation allows business operations to continue safely while remediation work proceeds behind the scenes. Blocking malicious activity, both short and long-term containment ultimately aim to stop malicious behavior. Examples include blocking malicious IPs and domains, killing malicious processes, preventing command and control communication, removing persistence mechanisms, cutting off lateral movement paths. Blocking malicious activity is about reducing the attacker's ability to operate within the environment, minimizing damage, and setting the stage for full eradication. The first step in eradication is eliminating all malicious files, processes, and persistence mechanisms. This includes deleting malware binaries, killing malicious processes, removing scheduled tasks or startup entries, eliminating backdoors, cleaning registry modifications. Thorough malware removal ensures the threat actor no longer has an active presence in the environment. It also prevents the malware from reactivating once systems are restored. Close vulnerabilities. Next, the DFIR team must identify how the attacker got in and close the holes they exploited. This may involve applying patches, fixing misconfigurations, removing exposed credentials, updating firewall rules, hardening identity policies, disabling unused services. Closing vulnerabilities ensures the same attack path cannot be used again. This is where the organization turns lessons into lasting improvements. Reset compromised accounts. Attackers often rely on stolen or brute-forced credentials. Resetting passwords, revoking tokens, rotating API keys, and enforcing MFA helps eliminate unauthorized access. In more severe cases, accounts may need to be disabled entirely. Proper identity cleanup is critical because failing to address compromised accounts can allow attackers to slip back in, even after malware is removed. Once the threat has been contained and eradicated, the focus shifts to safely bringing systems back online and ensuring the environment is stable, clean, and secure. Restore systems. The recovery process often begins with restoring affected systems and services. This may include re-imaging devices, restoring from clean backups, rebuilding servers or virtual machines, re-enabling business applications. The key goal is to return the organization to normal operations without reintroducing the threat. Recovery must be deliberate and controlled, not rushed, because restoring too quickly can undo previous containment and eradication efforts. Validate configurations. Once systems are restored, the next step is to ensure they are configured securely and consistently. This includes verifying security patches are applied, identity and access controls are correct, network rules and firewall policies are updated, logging and monitoring are active, endpoint protections, EDR, XDR, are running properly. Validating configurations prevents the attacker from exploiting the same weaknesses again and confirms that recovery did not introduce new issues. Monitor for reinfection. Even after recovery, the environment must be monitored closely for signs of recurring malicious activity. This includes watching for recreated persistence mechanisms, repeat credential misuse, suspicious network traffic. Unexpected process behavior. Threat actors sometimes attempt to re-enter the environment or take advantage of residual weaknesses. Ongoing monitoring provides assurance that the recovery was successful and that the environment is truly secure. This final step transforms an incident from a disruption into an opportunity for long-term improvement. Reconstruct timeline. The first task is to rebuild the full sequence of events, what happened, when it happened, and how the attacker moved through the environment. This involves reviewing SIEM logs, EDR, XDR, telemetry, network activity authentication records, forensic images, alert history. A clear timeline answers critical questions. When did the attack begin? How long were they inside? What systems and data were touched? What was the attacker trying to accomplish? Reconstructing the timeline provides context, evidentiary clarity, and a foundation for accurate reporting. Identify lessons learned. Next, the team evaluates what went well and what didn't during the incident. This includes examining detection gaps, response delays, miscommunications, missing logs, tool failures, human errors, overly complex procedures. The goal is to identify root causes, not just of the compromise, but of any operational weaknesses. Lessons learned highlight where monitoring needs tuning, where controls failed, and where the team needs more training or better processes. Update controls into playbooks. Finally, the organization updates its security posture based on what was learned. This may involve hardening configurations, strengthening access controls, adding or tuning detection rules, improving incident response playbooks, updating communication protocols, enhancing logging and telemetry, deploying new tools, or automation. This step ensures the same attack cannot happen the same way twice. It also refines the organization's response capability for future incidents. Disk forensics. Disk forensics focuses on analyzing data stored on physical drives or virtual disks. This includes file systems, deleted files, metadata registry entries, prefetch files, browser artifacts, persistence mechanisms. Disk forensics helps reconstruct long-term activity and uncover artifacts that persist after reboots or system changes. It forms the backbone of most traditional investigations. Memory forensics. Memory forensics examines the contents of RAM, capturing volatile data that disappears when a device is powered off. Analysts use memory forensics to identify running processes, injected code, in-memory malware, credential theft tools, active network connections, encryption keys. Because many advanced threats operate only in memory, this domain is critical for uncovering modern attacks, including fileless malware. Network forensics. Network forensics analyzes packet captures, flow data, and communication patterns to track attacker movement across the environment. It reveals command and control activity, lateral movement, data exfiltration, suspicious protocols, attack sequences over time. Network forensics is essential when investigating large-scale intrusions or identifying how an attacker navigated through systems. Cloud forensics. As organizations migrate workloads to AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and SaaS applications, cloud forensics has become essential. It focuses on API logs, identity and access events, storage access patterns, cloud configuration changes, container and serverless environments. Cloud forensics requires an understanding of cloud-native logging tools and shared responsibility models, as evidence often exists in distributed services rather than a traditional hard drive. Malware analysis. Malware analysis examines malicious files, scripts, or payloads to understand how they work. This includes static analysis, reviewing code without running it, dynamic analysis, executing malware in a sandbox, reverse engineering, identifying IOCs and TTPs. Malware analysis helps determine intent, capabilities, propagation methods, persistence, and remediation steps. It also strengthens future detection rules and threat intelligence. These 6 tools represent some of the most widely used and respected platforms in digital forensics and incident response. Each one plays a unique role, and together they give DFIR analysts the ability to analyze disks, memory, networks, and live systems with precision and depth. EnCase. EnCase is one of the oldest and most trusted commercial forensic suites. It specializes in full disk imaging, file system analysis, email recovery, timeline reconstruction, legal-grade evidence handling. EnCase is widely used in law enforcement and enterprise forensics because of its strong reporting features, courtroom defensibility, and broad artifact support. FTK Forensic Toolkit. FTK is another powerful commercial platform known for speed and strong data indexing. It excels in rapid searching across large datasets, registry and artifact analysis, Password recovery email parsing comprehensive case management (FTK) is especially valuable in investigations involving large volumes of data or cases that require fast triage. Autopsy is a widely used open-source forensic suite built on the Sleuth Kit. It offers file system analysis, timeline views, hash-based filtering, keyword searches, module-based extensibility. Autopsy is a cost-effective, community-supported alternative to commercial tools and is excellent for training, education, and real-world digital investigations. Volatility is the industry-standard tool for memory forensics. It allows analysts to extract running processes, injected malware network connections, kernel modules, credential artifacts, in-memory persistence. Because many advanced threats operate only in RAM, volatility is essential for investigating modern attacks and advanced adversaries. Wireshark is the most popular open-source network protocol analyzer. It enables analysts to capture and inspect packet-level data, including command and control traffic, malware communications, data exfiltration, lateral movement, suspicious protocols and flows. Wireshark is invaluable for reconstructing network activity and understanding how attackers move across systems. Velociraptor is an advanced open-source tool designed for endpoint visibility, live response, and forensic triage. It excels in distributed endpoint collection, hunting for artifacts at scale, pulling logs, files, and memory snapshots, running forensic queries using VQL Velociraptor query language. It's especially powerful for enterprise-wide investigations where speed, automation, and scalability matter. Together, Encase, FTK, Autopsy, Volatility, Wireshark, and Velociraptor form a comprehensive DFIR toolkit covering disk forensics, memory forensics, network forensics, and live endpoint response. Mastering these tools enables investigators to uncover attacker behavior across every layer of the digital environment. Ransomware is one of the most destructive incidents organizations face. Attackers encrypt critical data, disrupt operations, and often steal data for double extortion. DFIR teams focus on identifying the initial access vector, stopping lateral movement, preserving encrypted data, removing persistence, assessing data exposure speed matters. Early detection can prevent a full outbreak. Business email compromise, BEC. BEC attacks target email accounts usually through phishing or credential theft to impersonate executives or employees. Attackers often attempt fraudulent wire transfers, invoice manipulation, data theft. Further account compromise forensics centers on email logs, authentication records, mailbox rules, and identifying what data may have been accessed. Insider threats, insider incidents can be intentional or accidental but are highly dangerous because they originate from trusted accounts. Examples include data theft, sabotage, misuse of privileges, policy violations. DFIR must carefully investigate activity without altering evidence or making false assumptions. Insider cases often involve sensitive HR or legal coordination. Credential theft. Stolen credentials give attackers direct access to systems, cloud services, and sensitive data. This includes phished passwords, stolen tokens, MFA fatigue attacks, password spraying, or brute force. DFIR teams analyze identity logs to uncover unauthorized access, privilege escalation, and lateral movement. Supply chain compromises. These incidents occur when attackers breach a trusted vendor, software provider, or service used by the organization. Examples include malicious updates, compromised code repositories, vendor credential abuse, cloud service infiltration. Supply chain incidents are difficult to detect and often widely distributed, requiring close collaboration between IR teams, vendors, and sometimes government agencies. Thank you all for joining me for this session on digital forensics and incident response. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode as we continue exploring the world of technology and cybersecurity.